With the Fantastic Four finally arriving in the MCU, they're set to be the main players in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And they'll surely be main players in the upcoming Saga. Fantastic Four were the first official heroes of the Marvel Universe. Also, this is my first Marvel video on the channel, and what better way to start than with Marvel's first family. Today, we're going to go back all the way to when it started with Fantastic Four issue 1, published in 1961. In the city sky, a flare is shot with the words reading, "The Fantastic Four." Apparently, some people believe that the flare is a part of some sort of alien invasion. They're a little too soon. We'll get there later. The flare was shot by a mysterious man and the leader of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's Reed Richards. It is the first time I have found it necessary to give the signal. I pray it will be the last. Elsewhere, Sue Storm sips on tea when a friend of hers notices the flare in the sky. She immediately goes invisible and walks out the door. Understandable. How else do you tell your friend you have powers? For some reason, Sue just starts bum rushing people, specifically bumping into a crowd of people. She even speaks to them like she wants to scare people.
Stand aside. I have no time to lose.
I'm sure this wasn't the only sidewalk. There was no reason for her to do that. She later gets into a cab, spooking the driver. Stan Lee just wanted to show her powers in dramatic fashion. If she was going to get in the cab anyways, there was no reason to go invisible. We cut to Ben in a clothing store, who's miserable about the store not having his size. Bah! Everywhere it is the same. I live in a world too small for me. Shopkeeper notices the flare, so Ben undresses his trench coat and yeets his fedora in a dramatic fashion, giving the man a near heart attack. He barges through the shop door, running straight through it like the Kool-Aid Man. As the door crumbles behind him, the cops show up, firing at him. I don't blame them. Again, this was completely unnecessary. Undressing and barging through property only delayed him further to his destination. As the cops fire, the thing crawls into a manhole, getting to his destination underground. And when he doesn't find another manhole leading to the street above, he makes his own, bursting through the middle of the street, right as a car drives towards his direction. Of course, the car hits him. It's completely totaled. Fool, did you not see me in time? The public panics and runs in fear. Some guy even thinks he's a Martian. The public's reaction is totally understandable. Not only is the thing almost naked, showing the world his rocky skin, he's caused massive property damage for no reason. He can move with urgency without destroying everything around him. If he didn't take off his trench coat, he wouldn't need to run. The police finally arrive, but the thing is long gone. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something weird happening in Central City. Those words in the sky, those scattered reports of monsters walking the streets.
A prize tool that can help us later.
Central City? That sounds familiar. Fun fact, Central City was a generic city name that old comics would often utilize. It was also used as the city in the Spirit comics. The Fantastic Four were originally based in Central City, California, until they moved to New York. We cut to Johnny, who's getting his car fixed when the mechanic notices the flare. Johnny bursts into flames, but he doesn't say flame on, he just heads on his way. Unlike the others, Johnny activating his powers actually makes sense because his powers allow him to fly and will actually help him get to his destination. The public see Johnny flying, so the National Guard is called. Johnny weaves and dodges fighter pilots successfully, but Johnny has difficulty dodging a missile. As he's almost hit, Reed catches him, stretching his arms, grabbing the missile out of the air. Johnny's flame goes out. As he falls to the ground, Reed stretches under him to cushion his fall. Reed stretches into the window and the four begin to discuss the situation. We flash back to the Four's origins. Ben argues that the test ship isn't safe and decides to leave the mission, but Sue calls him a coward, so he decides to go anyways. Their goal being to beat the communists in the space race. The group sneaks into the military base containing the ship that Reed worked on. The trip seems successful until... Hear that? It's the cosmic rays. I warned you about them. Johnny starts to overheat and Ben collapses to the ground, unable to pilot the ship. The ship goes into autopilot, crash landing in the middle of nowhere. Sue begins to turn invisible, but becomes completely visible again in an instant. As Ben and Reed argue, rocks begin to form on Ben's body. He rips off a tree branch, prepared to hit Reed, but Reed stretches his body, dodging the tree. He then wraps his arms around Ben, putting him in a lock. Johnny is engulfed, and he flies away. Minutes later, he falls back down. The group agrees to use their powers to help protect humanity, taking their names and forming their Fantastic Four. Also, Sue was originally called the Invisible Girl. In the present, Reed informs the team of cave-ins that's been happening all across the world and atomic plants. Just as they speak, a cave-in happens in French Africa, but out of a hole, a gigantic creature climbs out. The soldiers shoot the creature with artillery, but it does nothing. The creature remains until his master, the Mole Man, calls him back. Reed pinpoints an island known as Monster Isle, located between the cave-ins. He believes the island will have the answer they're looking for. The four arrive on a private jet. They begin to climb a mountain and reach its peak, but suddenly a three-headed dragon emerges from the other side, attempting to grab Sue. It turns invisible, and the bewildered creature gets strangled by Mr. Fantastic's stretched out arms. He hurls the creature into the water. Suddenly, there is a cave-in the mountain. Johnny and Reed end up falling through it. As they descend, Reed grabs onto Johnny in the shape of a parachute, slowing its fall. They land in a dark pit, and the two then enter a trapdoor where they're blinded by a bright light to the point of passing out. They wake up in adhesive suits, and a man starts speaking to them. Who are you? I can't see. And where are we?
I am the Mole Man.
Elsewhere, at the top of the mountain, Ben quickly makes work of a giant rock creature. Mole Man explains his origins to the two.
So you have never heard of the Mole Man, eh? Well, soon the world shall hear of me.
Mole Man explains how he was ridiculed by society because of his deformities, and so he set out to find Monster Isle and to establish himself king over it. After almost all his resources sink, he discovers a cavern leading to the Earth's center. An avalanche falls, and he falls even further underground, the accident blinding him and stranding him like a human mole. Underground, he mastered the creatures, commanding them to build his underground empire. He has also developed a radar sense in order to sense objects in the dark, like Daredevil, demonstrating his bow staff skills against Reed and Johnny. Mole Man then explains his plan, to destroy every major city's atomic plant, leaving them vulnerable to attack by his creatures. Mole Man prepares the creatures to destroy the intruders. We'll see about that, Mole. Ben and Sue arrive, presumably listening to the whole conversation. Mole Man summons the creature from earlier who attacked French Africa. Just then, Johnny engulfs, freeing himself from the adhesive. He flies all around the green creature. The Mole Man attempts to make a run for it, but Reed grabs him. A horde of creatures charge at the heroes. Johnny creates a rock slide using his powers to seal the creatures and Mole Man off. As the Fantastic Four flee on their jet, the isle is blown to smithereens. The four believe Mole Man to be sealed off forever. It's best that way. There was no place for him in our world. Perhaps he'll find peace down there. I hope so.
I just hope we have seen the last of him.
Funny, they haven't. And that's the end. It was interesting seeing the beginning of everything. The differences between the team today and the similarities. Like how in modern iterations, early in the Four's career, Ben is still the one who's skeptical of a successful trip. It's a little annoying that the cover wasn't even depicted in the actual story.
I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
I was looking forward to Giganto emerging in the middle of the city. Overall, this was a good start. If you want more Fantastic Four, stay tuned.